Hello, how are you doing? I'm going to do a video today about the Canary Islands and yeah, about the bowls of God's wrath. I'm going to talk about one of the second bowl of God's wrath, or the second trumpet of God's wrath. And yes, make no mistakes. Make no mistake. I call it both of them, the trumpets and the bowls, God's wrath. So I'm going to talk about that today because, well, first let me explain why I believe that the bowls and the trumpets are God's wrath. They overlap. Okay? You can compare the two. I have done a comparison. You do your comparison. Sit down, compare the bowls, the first bowl with the first trumpet, the second bowl with the second trumpet. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to use the second trumpet. Okay? But what I want to focus on today is the second trumpet. Because I believe the second trumpet has something to do, or the second bowl has something to do with these Canary Islands. I've always thought that because I've done some research. I've read a lot of things about the Canary Islands and how scientists have really watched the Canary Islands for a long time. Why? Because they're saying if there is a major earthquake or maybe even a volcanic eruption, that could cause half of the island to sink, or part of the island to sink in the ocean and cause a major tsunami, which ends up in, if you know where the Canary Islands are, do you know where the Canary Islands are? Most people don't, but the whole East Coast. The Canary Islands are in the Atlantic, right in front of North Africa, very close to Gibraltar and Spain. Okay, it's almost right there in the front of Gibraltar. And so you can imagine when half of an island or part of an island sinks into the ocean and causes a tidal wave, that will overrun all of the East Coast. Okay, New York, Washington, Florida, South Carolina, all Virginia, all those, the whole coastland, okay, of the East America will be flooded. Okay, will be flooded. Now they have time, but they will not have time, really, enough time to rescue enough people, to evacuate enough people when it happens. So they have been really keeping an eye on the Canary Islands for a long time. And just recently, I think within the last couple of days, of course, we had something happening. The volcano on one of the islands erupted. Okay. And yeah, I did post a video by this guy that I constantly, Suspicious Observer. Okay. Suspicious Observer. I posted his video on La Palma volcano, what it means, data and update, which is very good. It gives you very scientific research. It's not like a panic-driven person. And so I like to listen to him because I like to have facts. I don't like anybody to get anybody, panicking and stuff like that. But it is something that we need to really keep an eye on. And because it's happening again, people are saying, uh-oh, what's happening? Well, this guy is saying not at this point, nothing is really happening. It's just spitting. And I think there were minor earthquakes in the area, which is okay. And so when the volcano went, it kind of released even the pressure, and that's a good sign. So we don't have to worry about it. However, I still believe that these islands are part of what's going to happen in the wrath, during the wrath of God. Okay? So we're going to look at first we're going to look at the second. Let's see, we're going to go to Revelation 8, and we're going to look at, and I think it's the second trumpet. Okay? Again, you can overlap them. Why are the trumpets wrath of God? Simple. I think in 11 it says, your wrath has come in the past. Okay? 11 is the end of the trumpets. It's saying your wrath has come. So all the trumpets are wrath. In at the end of the sixth seal, people know that the wrath is coming. So the wrath is then coming in the seventh seal. Okay? Seventh seal. The whole seventh seal are the trumpets, and that is wrath of God. That's why I know it's wrath of God. If somebody is ignoring any of these things, whatever. Believe what you want to believe. That's just the way it is. Okay? So here we go, and we're going to look at the second angel sounded. And that's in Revelation 8:8. The second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a huge mountain, all blazed, was thrown into the sea. So it has to be, what is a huge mountain all ablaze? That could be what? That could be a volcano. Okay? And it was thrown into the sea. Thrown into the sea. Okay? Did it fall into the sea, or, an angel threw him into the sea? Okay? You get it. I hope you get it. Okay? So, anyways, so this mountain is burning and it's falling into the sea. And a third of the sea turned into blood, and a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. That's what happened. Okay? A third of the ships were destroyed. Why? Because of the tsunami. It doesn't say it here, but what happens when a mountain is thrown into the ocean? Tsunami. So there's going to be a tsunami on the other side. And of course, the ships have to go through the tsunami. Is the Atlantic Ocean a third of the ocean? Yep, it probably is. Okay? So then it says a third of the living creatures in the sea died. Okay? So it must be an extreme event. So now we need to think, where in the world do we have a volcano near the ocean, right? So it can fall in the ocean. Where do we have also a place that may fall into the ocean? Something where it's breaking off and it can fall, or where it has the potential to fall in the earth. That is the Canarie Islands. The Canarie Islands has exactly that potential. That there is a volcano, and it's also, there's a high potential that half of the island will fall, caused by either volcano or most likely also earthquake into the ocean. And people have been really, should I say, waiting for it, or they're just, watching out for it. So here we go. This is what happens. Right there with the second bowl, which we know is the wrath of God, right? Because it says it on up here. Okay. Where it says, and I saw the seven angels we are talking about the trumpets right now. But let's go now to the bowl. Okay. So we can kind of compare This is the trumpets. But these were the trumpets. So now we're going to go to the bowls and compare the second trumpet with the second bowl. What does it say? It sounds different. Why? Because remember, John has two complete visions, one over here and one over here. And both of them look at the wrath of God from different angles. So we can have a bigger picture. So this is now what John saw from the other side. Okay? So we're going to have to go to the second angel. The second angel, and that's in 3, verse 3, 16, 3. The second angel poured out his bowl on the sea, and it turned into blood like that of a dead person, and every living thing in the sea died. Does that sound equal or close to the same? Yes. Now, the trumpet describes it with more detail. Okay? If you compare the two, you will see there is much comparison. Okay? Much comparison. If we look at the third, for instance, the third angel poured out his bowl on the rivers and springs of water, and they became blood. Then I heard the angel in charge of the water say, "You are just in this judgment, O Holy One, you who are and who were, for they have shed the blood of your holy people and your prophets." So here it is, something is poured out on the waters, all the waters, the springs of water, and they became blood. Okay? So now, do we know anything in detail? Well, let's see if we can get more into detail in Revelation 8. Okay? See, there's two witnesses of the wrath of God. God always uses two witnesses. And he has two witnesses, one on this side, one on this side. He looks from this side, he looks from this side. So, John had two visions. So now let's look at this. The third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star blazing like a torch fell from the sky on the third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the water that had become bitter. So now we see here in more detail what caused the springs and the water to turn blood red or to turn bitter. It was a star falling from heaven, right? Or blazing, what does it say? A great star blazing like a torch. Was it a star or is it a comet? Most likely a comet fell and poisoned the water sources. Now we have 2/3 of the world poisoned. 1/3 of the oceans, okay? 1/3 now of all the water sources are gone. Okay? So we have to put those two together, the bowls and the trumpets, and we have to see them in one. Okay? In one. Again, a lot of people don't believe that the trumpets and the bowls, or that the trumpets are God's wrath. But it's obvious. Okay? If you read everything from the beginning to the end, and maybe start with the 6th seal. Well, let's go there. We are in 8, so we have to go to 6. All seven trumpets are the 7th seal. Okay? So it says right here at the beginning, actually, when he opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. Okay? And we see why there was silence, because we see that in chapter 7. So then we have to go back to Revelation 6. At the end of the 6th seal, we see exactly what's coming. Okay? So this is what's coming. 15. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it? Okay? Because seal 6 is an introduction of the wrath. And then we see a more detailed description of the wrath in the 7th seal. Okay? Very simple. What is the first thing that will happen in the 7th seal? Which is different. You don't find it in the trumpets. Okay? We don't find that in the trumpets. That's where you have differences. Okay? But what's the first thing that will happen during the wrath of God? Here it says, Revelation 16. The first angel went and poured out his bowl on the land. An ugly, festering sores broke out on the people who had the mark of the beast, and worshipped its image. You see that? That you cannot find in the trumpet. The trumpet says there's going to be hail mixed with fire. Why? Because John saw it from this side, John saw it from this side. He saw the hail mixed with fire on this side, and he saw the people getting boils. So the first thing that will happen during the wrath of God, we're going to have hail mixed with fire, destroying 1/3 of the world. At the same time, the people that had the mark will have boils. That's why I believe very strongly, this is the first time we're hearing it, that somebody has boils is during this first part of the wrath. And that's why I believe the saints will be gone during the wrath of God. The wrath starts and they have boils already. Okay? All that have bowed down to the system that got this one. Okay? Sorry, I cannot tell you anything else. Okay, I'm not judging anybody. You make your decision. But that's what's happening right there. Okay? That's what's happening. So compare the two. That's God's wrath. And so I believe that this volcano or this Canarie Island system will not go down into the ocean until the wrath of God. Okay? I don't see anywhere else where there's anything that they're watching that has the potential of falling into the earth. And destroying as much as they see right there. That is major. That is major, people. Major. What if this, I don't know what's, what they have there, if there could be, how the oceans will be poisoned, if they will leak certain things. I don't know. Okay, I really don't know, but that's what I always thought when I was doing the study and thinking, what could that be? What could that be? Anyways, this is going to be a short video, or shorter video. It's not going to be as long. I just wanted to kind of let you know to watch out for these things, because we are living in the last minutes, seconds. Okay, and we have to watch. These are the birth pangs. In other words, pre-pain of the birth. So we can see them now because they're happening and the wrath is preparing. And of course, the ones up there, they already know. They already know it's coming. Okay? They're worried. They know something is coming. And other people tell you, like this, I supposed to put a video on there by this Dane Wickington, I think it's Wickington, and I'll watch that. Go to my Facebook group, Great Deceptions of the End Times, because I always post things there. If there's things coming up that we need to be watching out for, and it's just a watch, okay? It's just a watch. I'm not alarming anybody, because we're going to be gone anyways. When this happens, we're going to be gone, okay? But if you are left behind, well, that's what you're going to get. You better move away from the coast if that's where you're living, because it is coming. It is coming, and it's, it's the second thing that's coming after the third part of this earth is burned. Okay, because that's the first one. That's what we've seen. Let me see if I... no, that's, again, we have to go back, and we're jumping back and forth, going back to Revelation 8. Okay, I know we're kind of jumping back and forth here. And we're looking at the first... The first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down on the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. And how about the people, the houses? Of course they were burned up too, right? He didn't see it, but it was burned up. Okay? So don't think that it didn't affect the human beings. This is the first thing that will happen during the wrath of God. Who is going to be burned up? Some people say it's the United States. That's 1/3 of the land masses. Don't know. Okay? Don't know. That'd be terrible, wouldn't it? But we'll see. We think it's bad right now with, all these fires all over the world. It's going to get worse. So, yes, I'm coming to an end. This is a shorter video. But people also, please go to my BitChute if you're on YouTube. And again, I know this is going on BitChute as well, and I'm really thankful for my BitChute subscribers. It's really great. Please share my videos. Anyways, let the Holy Spirit guide you always.